This is the Newsload.
Hi, I'm Carrie Anne Stevenson, and I'm here with Newsload, and today is Halloween, and we are interviewing Klara Szigethy. Hi, Klara.
Hello. I'm really
Welcome.
excited. Thank you for inviting me. So, again, it is Halloween, right? And Halloween for everyone is a big deal for a lot of people. For myself, it's New Year's. For Samoan is a part of a pagan community around the world who do believe in the Samoan or Halloween. So it's just celebrating life and remembering our ancestors, and that's what it's all about. And if you see people who do altars, is just they put foods and everything like that. They do that to feed the spirit. So that's part of that whole thing about Halloween and about Samoan and New Year's. And then people who celebrate Day of the Dead and All Saints Day. And that's from end of October till November the 2nd. So that's where this whole thing all together. So it doesn't matter if you're Christian, pagan, or whatever religion your deity, whatever you believe in. It's just putting it out there that that's what people are so excited about, and everything. Plus, I want to put a shout out to my niece. It's her birthday, so she turned 38. So happy birthday, Crystal. So
Happy
I thought I'd just put it out there.
Crystal.
So I was so excited when she was born on Halloween. My sister was like, "No, I don't want it on Halloween," and I'm like, "Okay," but anyways.
Her parties must be fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely, right. And I'm Halloween queen because when I used to take her out, and she's like, "Wow, Auntie Clara, I never believed that you have all these costumes and how much fun it was and stuff." So it's like, that's what it's all about, right? Having fun and enjoying life, right? So yeah.
So where has tarot sort of originated from?
Okay. My curiosity as a kid, because I started as 10 years old because my mom and my sister and my aunt were playing cards. And so I was just coming to the room and I go, "Oh, we're playing cards. Can we play?" And they're like, "Oh, no, this is not the type of cards that we're playing." And I go, "What do you mean?" And they're sitting there going, "Well, we're fortune telling. We're doing our fortunes." And I'm like, "With playing cards?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's how it started." And I go, "Really?" And they're going, "Well, there's many different cards, but originally it started with the poker card." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm curious." And they're like, "Well, you're too young to understand." And I agree. And I'm so grateful for my mom who basically put out there that, yes, we can be young. There's nothing wrong to be curious and asking questions and stuff. But, and it's true. The one thing she says that, we may be young, but we don't know life. And that's what tarot cards is all about, is talk about person's life story, right? And you have to understand what the person's life is going on before you give advice sometimes too, because you have to be very careful how or who you talk to, because everybody's life is different, right? So, but it was pretty interesting. So I said, "Well, how can you read the cards?" Numbers is life, right? And symbolism is life, because we have many symbolisms into the cards. So I was very curious, and my mom realized too, so just quickly that, so my name is Klara Szigethy, and my company name is Clarity 13 Tarot Card Reader. And I do mediumship too. So it's part of what I do in my cards is when I read my tarot readings and stuff. Tarot card reading, again, it is a tool, because between psychics and mediums, okay, psychics use tools. So they use all kinds of products, whatever it is, either if it's oracle cards, tarot cards, or if they're using dowsing, or they use the Ouija board even too for the planchette, or any kind of tools. Our ancestors used bones, dice, any kind of thing, because they didn't have paper back then, okay? And they had seers. So mediumship was part of how you see and what the person has visions. And so thus came in the pictures. So if you see mostly the cards now, because paper wasn't invented till the 1400s. So that's part of that whole thing that a lot of people don't realize, that tarot cards have had a big history. And it's a mystery itself too, because you don't know where it really originated. They say it started in Italy. Okay. And Italians are very well known as their artistry. Okay. Because you've seen how they build so many back in the Roman times, right? But how they entertained themselves. So they played games. So they used to do dice, and that was numbers. Okay. So when paper was invented, so they did cards. So now this is the Lenormand cards, but so these are like sort of like old decks. So if you could see the heart symbol, okay, and you could see a diamond symbol, and you see the spades, and we got the club. Oh, I disappeared there. We got the club. The club didn't want to show in. Okay.
That's interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. But a lot of people didn't know the kings and queens in the deck of cards wasn't in there. It was just about numbers. Okay. So the Italians, and I'm going to show you Italian cards. And again, so we have the club. So I'm just going to show you, here's the club for the Italian cards. Okay.
Wow.
So club represents, you know, like almost like strength. Okay. And it's just, you know, wood is made of, you know, like what we stand in, how we build our houses, how we live our life, and etc. Again, spades. So it is represent the sword.
Beautiful. Okay. I love the artistry of it. The Italians are quite
right?
Yeah.
And so again, sword could mean many things, could cut through the knife, like just let's cut it through, just let it go, right? So that's what sword, or war, because back then, a lot of people who did the readings back then was pretty interesting. Anyways, this one, as I showed you before, oops, here we go, is the diamond. That represents the coin. Okay. So that means money. Okay. Exchanging money. And then again, life is money, right? Because money makes the world.
Prosperity and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Correct. And then we have the heart. Ooh, now the heart doesn't want to come out. There we go. We got the heart. And this is the cup. Now, again, as you know, blood of Christ and everything else, this cup of blood, right? But blood is life. And again, Mary Magdalene back then too, because, you know, supposedly, again, we don't know Mary Magdalene, Jesus, who had cup of a child. So again, that's part of that whole mysticism, lore, where it came from, right? So there's so many things about the cup, okay?
It all mixed together, you know, Christianity, pagan, you know, the history, and, you know, just what was being talked about and taught.
Yes, correct. Now, it's really funny because the cards that I showed you earlier, these are French style. So I'm going to show you a different kind of playing cards again. So as you see the club, and it says, I don't know if you can see the background or not, but it has the harvest. So right now, because we're in the fall time, it's harvest time. Okay. We gather up, and now in my country, they didn't believe in paganism. Okay. So they believe in seasons of the change. So part of the Slavic community, even though there was paganism, but they believed in seasons of the change. So our ancestors believed that, you know, when the trees change color, it's time to harvest, to make sure your food is ready for, as they say, the winter's coming. Okay. So winter is death. And a lot of people think death is, you know, you're going to die or whatever. Death card actually means a new beginning. Okay. So you're letting go. Okay. And that's the whole point of the death card. Now the coin card is spring. Okay. So that's part of the seasons of the change. And if you ever notice, it's because it's 52 cards, because it's the goes by the calendar of the year. Okay.
52 weeks out of the year. Yeah.
Yes, right. So a lot of people don't know that, but some now here we are, we're giving that to the audience. And then we have the heart, which is again another fall or summer, okay, in between, because it's in between, you know, with the spring and then summer, you know, with the life coming into, but it's coming in towards near the fall because it's part of the growing and if it's breathing life, and that's what it's all about. Okay. Now,
so coin is sort of beginning, fresh prosperity, heart and such, and summer is love and romance and warmth. That's fascinating.
yeah, right. And this is part of how we do our readings, because it's just knowing your symbols and how you interact with people, how you read. Now, the German European cards are a little bit different. Now, we have a leaf card. Oops, I'm out of here. So it's just the leaf card. Okay. And that is the club. And we have the chestnut, okay, which is the sword. Okay. So it's like the shield. Okay, that's another thing too, because that's part of this card, is because we're trying to protect ourselves. And that's again, defense, the sword, the shield, whatever it is.
Safety, security.
Correct. And then we have the bell. Oops, we have the bell. And a bell represents coin. Okay. But again, it's metal, right? And it's part of earth too, because it's part of that whole thing and how we exchange, because our ancestors, how did they bartered with each other, right? So money came along. And then we have the heart card, as we know. Okay. So that's part of the cups. Now the tarot cards, here we go. So here is the tarot cards, ace of, okay, wands. And that's the club. Ace of swords. I don't know if everyone can see that.
Yeah.
And then the pentacle is basically the coin. Okay. And a lot of people think in the pentacle, and I'll get into that too. That's pretty interesting about the coin and the pentacle. And again, we have the cup. Okay. And how you see the water, the flow and nourishment, and how we feed ourselves. Beautiful, and how we have knowledge.
Beautiful. Where did your mom learn about this stuff?
And again, and if you read some books about tarot card reading, they say it's learned from mother to daughter to daughter to granddaughter, whoever has a gift or who's ever interested. Yeah. But I don't believe in that too anymore, because there's some lovely men who are so super talented out there that you see a lot of mediums who are out there who have the gift, but most of them are mediums who don't use the tools. And if they do, they do. But I've met some amazing people who are out there who do tarot reading and even palm reading. That's another thing too. And again, seasons of change and stuff. So it's a little bit collaborated all together, and that's why they put it on paper. And tarot cards are, again, a little bit different than oracle cards. Oracle cards have messages, images, same idea. You know, what's your story? What do you feel? How do you feel for yourself? So again, every card is different. So it's, I don't know if I have an oracle card somewhere around here, but anyways, the point is that I can easily show it to you that an oracle card is basically has colors and symbols and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to see if I can find something here that we can. But anyways, let's move forward. So Napoleon had his a person who did the tarot card readings, and that's where you see her cards. So now her cards are popular. I have a friend named Josie. She written a book a little bit about that, and their cards are a little bit of oracle and like both the poker cards too. And these are French cards, but they do have symbolism like this one's the fox in the sky. Okay. And what it says on here is it's a fox is a sly friend too, and someone who's trying to deceive you and glances and regards a snap and avoiding chances, beware of the fox.
Oh my
Right?
goodness.
So it's, again, it's
so
just,
a foxy lady is not a good thing.
you never know,
That's
foxy lady, right?
That's interesting. That's so fascinating. Would I be able to have a one question reading? Would that be rude?
No, I'm not going to say no to that. So
my one question is,
yep.
Will I find love?
Okay. Because we know your other side of business that you do and just finding love. And you know what? And here's the thing. And I'll be honest, that's a hard thing to say, for us, because one, it's, how can I say this in a way? When you're opening up the universe, as we see in our backyard, because the universe that we have, when we open up the universe, do we want to have love in our hearts? Okay. And trying to find the right person. First, I always tell this to my clients is that one, you got to learn how to love yourself. Mm. And once you learn to love yourself, you can open up to the world to love another. Okay. And if you're ready, if you're not ready, then that makes a big deal for your love. Okay. So let's get into that question that you wanted to know. And I'm going to see if I can do my Arcadian cards. And I'm going to flip about 4 cards for you. And then we'll see what happens from there. But what I feel, and again, this is part of my mediumship, you do find somebody. Okay. But I'm going to say to you, Carrie, you have certain standards.
I do. And
that's
expectations. Yeah.
And that's what I'm feeling for you, okay? Because you do have certain standards, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But again, it's just opening up your heart, allowing your heart to open to that person, okay? But the point is, moving forward onto that, will you find love? I'm going to say there is somebody out there, and just seeing what I feel with the cards. Now, I have a female guide around you. I have a grandmother spirit around you. They're allowing me to read for you, okay? And that's part of opening up, because you are allowing me to open up your energy, okay? So grandmother spirit on mom's side is allowing me to read for you. And again, like I tell people, sometimes maybe you don't get the answers. Maybe there's something else that maybe it's very important to you, what is for your readings, right? So that's part of that whole thing. Sorry. Let's get into that. One more card. And let's see what we have here. We have the Chariot card for you. Okay. That's the first one. We have King of Wands. Okay. We have Princess of Sword.
Ooh.
Okay.
And what do these mean?
And that's where I'm going to.
Okay.
And you have the Emperor. Okay. Now, the Chariot card is that you're on the go. You're nonstop. Okay. And you like to meet people, and that's why you have a lot of people card. And that's part of your job, and this is what you do. Okay. And I hate to say it, because it's hard for you to meet people, because you're meeting so many people, okay? And you're putting yourself out there. And I think the thing is too, people get intimidated a little bit by you, okay? And that's part of the other thing too. And it's just, even though you try to be approachable and everything, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's just they feel that, well, you're too outgoing. And which I do understand, because I've been in that boat too. It's like, when to put that energy and when not to put that energy, right? Anyways, so I'm seeing Now this could be from your past and whatever your future, okay? Because I'm seeing two forks in the road, okay? First guy, whoever you dated before, okay, was very strong, dominated person, okay? He had, and he took care of himself. He's not a type person. He did dress up. He did take care of himself. He did do things, okay? And this is the type of person. He's dark-haired. He's well-groomed, okay? And there's nothing wrong. And he had the lay of land. He was smart. He knew what he wanted and everything, but he had some issues too. Okay. So moving forward. But he was not the right fit because he was just a little bit overbearing and powerful for you. Now, why I have the Princess of Sword, okay, for you is either there was a friend who was helping you along the way, say, listen, it could be a family member or a friend or somebody that you trusted. Says you got to cut the line here because this is not healthy for you and you need this help. So she helped you along the way.
Yeah,
okay?
Within the first 5 minutes, she was like, yeah, no, you got to stop.
Right. And the Emperor, now the Emperor, a lot of people don't realize the Emperor is basically somebody who is a leader, who's not a follower. Okay. You need somebody who is a bit of a leader because you like to be that princess. I hate to say it. You like to be wined and dined and feeling good about yourself, and you're looking for that prince or king, okay? And but I'm going to be honest, there's no such thing as that. But you want to have somebody who is going to be your equal, and you will find that person who's going to be very understanding about one, because the job that you do, you interact with people. So he's got to be a business person. So king is, or emperor is a business person. Okay, who has to understand and maybe help you, guide you along the way. But I don't think you see him. He sees you. And that's why he kind of backed off a little bit maybe. And maybe you already know him. It's just, you're just afraid to move forward with this. Okay. And I just feel, and again, the king, again, he has many faces, many ideas, many things that he does, and he can be very quiet, and meaning that he has to think. He's a thinker, okay, because he has to be very equal to other people. And if you're going to be his queen, his empress, the whole point is that you guys have to think alike too, but you have to be a little bit opposite too, because you have to communicate, and that's part of communication, okay. And what I'm seeing you with the emperor is basically he's going to show you things that you're going to be blown and saying, wow, thank you. This is what I need to hear, right? So he's going to fascinate you and intriguing you to say, wow, this is something I've never expected. So this is what I'm feeling for you. He's out there. It's just you got to open up for it. Okay.
So I know him already. He's already in my life.
Yes. Okay. So it's just, when you do see that, okay. But he could be a little bit aggressive and you're like, okay, I don't know if I want that, but meaning that he's just like you. And that's the funny part because you're on the go. You got to do things and that's it. And that's where I'm seeing with him that you need somebody who's a little bit like you, but a little bit opposite of you, because you need somebody who encourages you a little bit more, okay? Because you get bored very easily, and that's why you're always on the go, because you're like, okay, I'm done. I need to move on to something else, okay? And that's the other thing too, because if you get bored, that's another thing. I'm going to go on the Lenormand card. I'm going to pick maybe one or two cards to see what you have here.
Sure.
I wish I had my other deck, because then I can give you a really nice little message for you, but I just want to leave on here.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah. Just,
yeah.
Please.
Oh, Can I go pick up the card? So I can.
Sure, if you want. Yeah, no problem.
No. Let's not. So let's move forward. Okay, so you have the number 2. And you have surrounded by the clover. Okay. So the clover is a meaning, it could be sorrow or surrounded by dark clouds and skies and everything, but the elements, but it could be fear and makes you cry. So, but the clover, for me, in a different way. Okay. Because the clover is, because you got to work hard, especially if you want to have that 4-leaf clover, that luck. Okay. And so it's not saying bad. Like, the thing is what it is that you got to bloom and work hard, even though you have worked hard and it's been up and down. And that's where I feel that's where the energy is from. So finding that 4-leaf clover to open up that door, that avenue, which you have because you've been working hard to find what you need to have. So now you have robbers of mouse and taking treasure inside the house and stealing in pleasures. So what the mouse represents, again, is family. Okay. Even though it says something different here, but what the mouse represents to me, okay, and this is that family is very important to you. Okay. But mice can be, very curious and they can be damaging too, because if they break something, you're like, oh man, you know what? I'm not going to bother to fix it. I'm just going to move on and do something else, because mice are the type of people that, just if I have to do, but they feed their family and they expand. Okay. So I think what this is representing is that business is like anything. It goes up and down, up and down. It's like anything, right? So how are you going to change that, and how are you going to move on forward for that? I'm doing another one. And this is one of my Hungarian cards that I have. And it's from the 1945s. Okay, this card.
Wow. Around my mother when she was born. That's fascinating.
Yeah. So a lot of people are really surprised that I have all these different kinds of cards. But anyways,
If you
they're
love
pretty.
it, if you're passionate about it, you're going to collect, right?
Exactly. So, all right. So there is a lover, obviously. Okay. Oops. A lover card. Okay. But lover card could be even to business. So maybe if somebody you might meet in business wise, you might meet through that person. Okay. So it could be job, or it could be somebody you are lover. But I feel somebody who's jealous what you do, because you've worked very hard to what you have. Okay. And also I have this other card. It's just basically you're letting go of certain people in your life and saying goodbye, because since the pandemic, like I said, a lot of us have saying, thank you for being part of my life. It's time to move on. And I need to find more newer and bigger things in my life. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're doing right now. You're making change, right?
Fascinating. And Klara, this has been a delight. I hope I find my emperor. That's very exciting. I actually apparently know him, so I have to think about. I think there might be a couple gentlemen that might be my emperor that I need to figure out. So I'm glad that I know him. One last question: was there a celebrity that you've met that you've been starstruck and delighted by?
Good question. And it tears my heart here, because when I first started, and it's not about tarot reading or anything, his name was Raven Gromasi. And he written several books about paganism, but he does talk about card reading and about mysticism and all that stuff. And he is a Strega witch. Okay. Now he passed before the pandemic. Which was really sad. And I was so glad, because I was going through a transition in my life, and I said, I'm going to meet this guy. And I don't know if you ever heard about The Secret, when you manifest the stuff. And anyways, I manifested that I wanted to meet him. So I went through a group, they had a ball, and they had him as a host, and he came here to London, Ontario. And he was from New England in the States. Okay. And when I saw Raven, and I've never thought in my entire life I would cry and laugh at the same time, shaking this man's hand. I don't know why I did it, because normally I've done celebrities' hairs. Okay. Because I was a hairdresser and everything. And in Toronto, and I did many people's hair. And I had many people who sat in my chair, and they're like, don't say anyone that I'm sitting in this chair. And I go, don't worry, it's doctor confidentiality, whatever it is. Anyways, but when I met Raven Grimassi, I was starstruck by him, and I never thought in a million years that I felt. So I cried and laughed, and he goes, it's okay, Claire, it's no problem. I go, no, but you don't understand your words, and I've never met you, but the way you written your book and the way how you say your words impacted me. So anyways, he told me that, Claire, you know what you are? And I go, what am I? And it was really nice that he gave me very good advice. And he goes, you're a blood bearer. And I go, what's a blood bearer? And he goes, you're a storyteller. And part of your readings and how you connect with people, and that's what a blood bearer does, is you keep the stories, and part of that blood is energy of telling the stories of human life and what's going on, and their stories and what needs to be talked about. And I said, you know what, sir? You are absolutely, it still gives me chills even to say that. And his wife, Stephanie, absolutely beautiful woman. I don't know if she's still doing the museum for him in that New England area. But like I said, he was my first celebrity, and that type of celebrity person who really impacted me even for this journey. And because he's like, you know what's stopping you? Why
That's
didn't you do this?
amazing. I do agree. When you meet, sometimes their presence, their energy, affects you. I really do believe that, and I felt that way with you, Klara, when we met. And I can't thank you enough for your time and your reading, and for me to find my emperor, and it's going to be amazing. And if I can just ask one more thing, if you can say it loud, say it loud. I love Newsload.
I love Newsload.
Yay! I hope
it's a pleasure.
Day, Klara, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, happy New Year's to all out there, to friends and family and everything who celebrate this day.
Wonderful. Thank you. Live long and prosper.
There you go. Live long and prosper, my friend. Take care.
Bye-bye.
This is the Newsload.